everyone, and welcome to the podcast. If you're new here, I cover a wide variety of topics. In the future, I will be covering baseball, paranormal, so please consider hitting that follow button if you're over on Spotify, or that big red subscribe button if you're listening on YouTube. Alright, welcome everybody to the third episode of the Tyson Talk podcast, I believe. Today I'm going to be talking about a story of when I was maybe 7, 8 years old. And this is kind of an embarrassing story, but I thought it'd be funny to share on my podcast. So I'm going to be telling a story. So this all takes place, again, when I was 7 or 8. So we were going camping to a place called Gordon Bay to spend the weekend, I think. So it was a pretty fun trip, a good road trip, of course. Being 7 or 8, it was kind of boring having to drive for a long way. I think it was about an hour-long drive. So we get to this destination, right? And we're just having fun. We're swimming. We're at the beach. We're all cool. We're having a ton of fun, right? And there's this thing, there's islands, so you have to swim to certain islands and you can kind of explore them, and overall kind of just a fun thing to do. So, me being 7 or 8, I was swimming towards an island and decided halfway to the island that I needed to use the washroom, okay? And I'm not talking number 1, that would be much easier. Talking number 2, unfortunately. So I'm halfway to this island, and kind of contemplating what I could do. I'm not going to just take a poop in the water. Again, like I said, this is quite an embarrassing story. So I'm swimming to this island, right? And I get to this island to find out that nobody else is on here except for my parents. So me being young and needing to use a washroom, I do the only logical thing I could think of, and that is to proceed to take a dump on the island. And at the time, I thought nothing wrong with this, because again, I was 7 or 8, like I said, so at the time, I thought nothing wrong with this, but thinking back to the story always makes me laugh, because I don't think I did anything to get rid of it. So the next people that came to this island would have seen that, and the looks on their face would be priceless. So I end up using some leaves as toilet paper, and I don't even think my parents know about this story, because I don't think that they're watching me when I did this. I kind of did it secretly, but I'm not sure. They may have been there. I can't really remember. I just remember doing my business on an island on a camping trip. And this is just a funny story because, again, the next people to visit this island who possibly would have seen my dump, just the look on their face would have been absolutely priceless. So, this is an embarrassing story. I think it's funny though, considering the fact that I was so young. But what was I really supposed to do in that situation? I really had to use the washroom, and I'm in the middle of the water swimming to an island, which nobody's on. So it kind of only makes sense. I'm not going to swim all the way back to shore just to go use the campsite washroom. I mean, it kind of makes sense to just use the washroom on the island. But, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this. I'm going to tell another embarrassing story right after this, because this was kind of short. But consider this part 1 to the podcast. Alright, so you've just heard the story about how I did my business on an island when I was camping. Now we're going to be talking about something that happened when I was in grade 5. So I think I was a little bit older, but I'm really not sure how old I was actually in grade 5. Could have been 9 or 10. I think I was 9 though. But I'm not really sure. So this is a story of the last day of school. So if you don't know, after grade 5 in elementary school, you go on to middle school. This was the last day that I had in my elementary school. So me and my friend decided to kind of go out on a big bang, I guess. Go out on a high note or something. I'm not really sure why we decided to do this, but pretty much me and my friend decided that at lunchtime, instead of going out and playing, we would hide inside of the lost and found box all lunch recess. So this just makes me laugh talking about it. This is kind of ridiculous. But we had this idea for a long time, and again, me being really young and immature, I'm still young and immature, but me back then being really immature, decided that this would be a really great idea. So, come lunchtime, we sneak out. Instead of going outside, we sneak back inside, which already you're not supposed to do. If you come back inside after lunch, they just tell you to go outside, so we snuck back inside the building, and kind of just sneaking around the building, looking around the corners to make sure nobody was there, to make sure that the coast is clear, and nobody's going to tell us to go back outside. So, after a few minutes of sneaking around the building, we make our way to the main hall. I'm not sure if it's called the main hall or whatever. It was just a hall, had the lost and found box, so it was already kind of mission impossible sneaking around the building without getting caught, so we already felt pretty good about that. So we get to the lost and found box, and we have one person standing outside saying if the coast is clear, and the other getting inside of the lost and found box. And once my friend got into the lost and found box, because of course I was the person making sure the coast is clear, after he got in, I hopped in right after. And I'm not sure why we did this, because it was the most boring, claustrophobic 10 to 20 minutes of my life. So we were just sitting in this box, cracking jokes, having a good time. But at the same time, it was hot, claustrophobic, and I really would just rather be outside. So, we're just kind of having fun, hoping that nobody catches us, when we hear one of the staff walking in the hallway. So we hold our breath, get really nervous, and I thought that she, or the staff member, passed, but then we hear the lost and found box creaking open, and it turns out another one of our friends that knew that this would happen, or knew that this was taking place, decided to kind of rat us out and tell one of the staff. So, we're young, so we didn't really get in trouble. The staff member just asked us to go outside, but it was still pretty embarrassing, because she just opened the box and me and my friend just sitting in there. So we kind of got caught red-handed with that. But I think that that's another kind of fun / embarrassing story. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. Again, if you're listening on Spotify, please make sure to hit follow. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe. And if you're on any other platform, make sure to follow or subscribe, whatever the option is. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will have to catch you in the next episode.